Hi, in this section we are going to discuss about method overloading. In previous video we already discussed about the method overriding. So please watch the video if you didn't watch yet. Now we are going to discuss about the method overloading in Java. So we can demo that by the live coding, and this is the one of the interview questions commonly asked nowadays. So let's start it. So as same as in the method overriding, there is a certain rules we supposed to follow in the method overloading as well. So there are, we can categorize into mandatory rules and non-mandatory rules basically. So what are the mandatory rules means? The overloading method must have the same method name. So as similar, this is same as the overriding as well. So whenever we do override and overload, the method name should be the same. In the case of method overriding, the method name should match same as the parent class, where here this is the method names should exist in the same class actually. Then the same class will have the same method name. So that is what it is actually mean by. The second rule says that method overloading method must have the different argument list, either the different in the argument list, a number of the arguments, or difference in the type. So let's do by coding itself what it is mean by. So I have created one package here that is com.java.training.overload, and I have one class here that is method overload demo, and here I have one method called void print. This is nothing doing, like just to print the one statement. So we can pass the one argument as well here, that is string str. So this is printing the name, or we can just print the print method, then it's printing the whatever the string we are getting passed. So here this print method is the one method. So in order to overload, this is the one difference between the overriding. In overload, the method would be, we are creating or we are overloading in the same class itself. So here we are creating in the same class in same name method, and in order to over, for example, if you do like this, what will happen? Printing, I'm just changing the message and str. So it will start complaining, saying that what it is saying that, see the duplicate method, it will say. So what need, see in duplicate method is nothing but it has the same method, same signature, everything same. So in order to, so what the compiler telling that you need to either overload or delete the method itself. So we want to overload this method. So what we can do, either we can change the number of parameter list. So what is the parameter list? We can pass one more string. So this will be a valid a case where we change the parameter list. Okay, so this is also valid one. Or we can do one more time, we can do that. We can change the what we can say, the type of the parameter. So that is also valid case. Okay, so here we can see that this is a print, and here is also print. Here it is only one parameter, but here it is also one parameter, but the parameter type we change. So this is also, we can say, valid overloading syntax. So in order to overload the syntax, the basic rule is that it should be in the same class, and the parameter list either should be, I mean, different, or the difference in the type of the parameter we are passing. Okay, then the non-mandatory rule says that in overriding we have already checked, I mean we already gone through the return type difference as well as the access modifier. Okay, similarly we also say, I mean we also seen that check the exception details also. So we can go one by one. See, in overloading method may have different return types. What it is mean by, here we didn't return any type. So for example, if we have one string is getting passed, returning, so what I did, I just returned the same whatever the string we are passed into. So the rule says that if the over here the equivalent overloading methods are these three, correct, because this name are same, but here you can see that this is not returning uh, any type of the values, so that is void. So he but here it is returning a string, so there is no mandatory rule for the return type. If any method in overloading methods may or may not return the a different return type. Okay, so still this is a valid scenario, that is what this rule says. And also it may have the different access modifier as well. For example, if it is a private, it is a default, and it is a protected. See, it can have different access modifiers. So there is no strict rule as compared to method overriding, but in method overriding we have the rules saying that it should not be more restrictive one in the overriding methods, but in overloading methods there is no rule specific to access modifier. Similarly, the return type also the in the exception as well. In the exception, in the overriding case, what this told that if it is a checked exception, then the overriding method should be same, or in the hierarchical it will should be the subclass of the uh, exception in the declared in the over overriding method. So here we can say that throws we can add the one exception, that is the checked exception. So in order to run this or compile successfully for this code, there may or may not return any exception. So here there is no rules, specific rules. So here also we can say that throws runtime exception. So there is no speed. But if you do this, here it is a file not found exception, and if you do the overriding case, overriding definitely should be matched with this one, and different should be in different class. But in method overloading and overriding case, this is overload case. If it is these two methods are overloaded, and here it is file not found exception, and it is the superclass of the file not found exception. In the case of overriding, it should tell that it should not be allowed, it will not allow to add this runtime exception, but here it is allowing, which means that in exception context there is no strict rules for that. So these are the rules actually for the overloading as compared to overriding. Thank you.
If you like the video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos.